Hello, everyone. Good morning to everyone, and good evening to Chris, Francisco, and Shannon. A very warm welcome to MSM Capilano University pre-departure 2020 session live. It was supposed to be there face to face, but because of the COVID situation, we are doing all the pre-departure sessions live. Otherwise, we would have seen Chris, Francisco, Shannon coming down to India, addressing all you guys on a same platform. Thank you for connecting with us today on behalf of MSM and CapU, and we hope that you all are in good health. For us, your health absolutely comes first, and that's why we're doing this pre-departure session so that we're able to guide you on various things like our programs and facilities, information on culture shock, health and travel insurance, medical and money matters, academic integrity, and safe arrival. I would like to introduce the panelists for the session. We have Dr. Chris, Director International. We have Shannon, Supervisor International, and then we have Francisco, Manager for International Experience. Over to you, Chris.
Namaste. Very nice to see you all, or kind of see you all this evening for us, and this morning there in India. As Dakshita just said, thank you, Dakshita, for that lovely introduction. As Dakshita just said, we would love to be there with you. Most importantly, right now, we hope that you're all safe and well and looking after each other and your families and friends. And we're really looking forward to spending the next hour with you to talk about what it's like when you'll come to Capilano University. So first of all, I want to thank you so much for choosing Capilano University, and we hope that you'll enjoy this next hour of a bit of interaction with us. Now, we've got quite a bit to share with you, and we expect that you'll want to ask questions and so on. So I think, Dakshita, you just mentioned, right, that we've got the quick Q&A, and so questions will come to Dakshita and our team there in India. Shaina and Swati and Dakshita are standing by to answer questions along with our team here over in Vancouver. So a little bit about today, and hopefully you've seen this is what it's all about. It's actually not a virtual orientation session, that comes later. It is a pre-departure session, and as you can see, it's myself, Shannon, and Francisco, and Yogan works incredibly hard, but Yogan has taken a bit of time off with his family, and much deserved, so he's not joining us this evening. As Dakshita said, normally we're over there with you, and this is one example of a pre-departure session that I facilitated about a year ago, or maybe 18 months ago, and we had about, I think, 500 people at that pre-departure. Of course, when I'm doing the pre-departures there, I get to wear this really nice Fab India attire, which I enjoy going and purchasing when I'm in India. And here I have to wear a fleece because it's so cold. Well, it's not that cold, but it was snowing today, which is kind of interesting. See this table here? Well, this family here, they actually turned out to be, I put my computer on the desk there, and I said, and they said, oh, do you know Sean, who owns Indian Fusion Restaurant? And I said, yeah, I do. Sean's my next door neighbor. And this gentleman says, yes, he's my second cousin. So lo and behold, they all that was the sort of a very strange connection, that here I am at Lydiana and my next door neighbor's cousin is sitting there at the table. And this gentleman here, he's one of the students, and he now lives next door to me, and he's going to Capilano University. So that's how kind of close we really are. So this image is just what it looks like at Capilano University. As you can see, it's very green. And this is just an example of the campus, but I'm going to show you a very quick video and in a second. And the video will just give you a little idea of what the university campus is like. So what are we going to cover today? About Vancouver and Capilano, just a bit of a brief update for you. we want to ask you which city or town or where you're actually calling in from to see, just get you to interact with us a little bit. We're going to talk about the learning updates, the updates regarding COVID-19 and the teaching conditions and the rules around arrival here in Canada. We're going to talk to you about where to live once you do come to Canada. Course registration, that's very important because that's happening very soon. So how do you register in all the courses? And Shannon's going to walk through all of that with you. And a bit about about permits and travel and important dates and other key items that will help you when you start your program of study at Capilano University. So CAP is located right over here on the edge of the mountain. And we're pretty lucky because this is Vancouver City right here. And it's a world-class city. It's where the Olympics have been held and world expos and things like that. It's a really awesome place to live. And we get to study at the university, which is right on the edge of the mountain. So this valley, if you go up this valley here and keep going up that valley, you keep going north, just heading north, then eventually you will reach the North Pole, and you'll only cross about 4 major highways before you get there. Now, it's a heck of a long way, but it just shows you that we live on the edge of the wilderness and on the edge of a world-class city. We're really, really lucky. So I'm going to show you a short video, and this just gives you a little visual idea about Capilano. Now, this video was done for our plans of what we intend to do over the next 10 years. And it's about our vision for our university. So it'll only take a minute, and it just gives you some imagery to look at and a few ideas. I'm just going to go back to that, and here we go.
Imagine multiple campuses, a connected community with a single purpose, embracing curiosity and imagination. Imagine cultivating life-enhancing learning experiences in diverse and inclusive environments. Imagine discovering the transformative power of imagination that will inspire our actions for years to come. Imagine embracing values of innovation, collaboration, transparency, honesty, health and well-being, reflective practice, sustainable actions, and a commitment to truth and reconciliation and decolonization, indigenization. Imagine the synergy between imagination and a boundless engagement with our communities in order to build a distinct university experience for our students, faculty, and employees. Imagine, where will you be in 2030?
Okay, so that's what we intend to accomplish at Capilano University. And now I just want to give you a little bit and gives you an idea of like the campus and our learning environment is like. And now I want to share another short video with our international students and some domestic students and what they think about Capilano University in one word. So here goes Gabriel and the rest of the crew.
Hi, I'm Gabriel and I'm from Brazil.
And I'm from India.
Vietnam.
From Mexico.
Taiwan. China.
North Van.
From Korea.
Colombia. CapU for me means opportunities.
Fun and friendship. 改变.
Community.
My job.
Getting an Oscar.
Multicultural.
CapU means communities to me.
A building step for my future.
Shannon.
다양한 색깔의 힘.
Chifa. Capilano University means diversity for me.
Explore. Opportunity.
Fun and frolic.
Compromiso.
Tạo mối quan hệ. New experiences. Felicidad.
Learning with fun.
União.
As have been crazy.
Well, as I usually say, hopefully it's not too crazy, but I guess we sure are in a bit of crazy times right now with the COVID and how that's changed things. So, but nevertheless, you get a bit of an insight there from our students about what they think about Capilano. We're pretty proud of this place. We are 50 years old, and this is our president, Paul Dangerfield, kind of blowing out the candles. You know, what's interesting is that 50 years ago, we started in a in a basement of a church, actually. And this is a picture of one of the first classes at Capilano University. As you can see, you know, everybody there has long hair and beards and flared pants and all that kind of stuff. And here we go, 50 years later, kind of the same. We've still got long hair and beards and, well, maybe not flared pants, but anyway, the idea is that we haven't really changed that much in terms of our culture. We're still a place which is pretty relaxed, but works really hard, and we're quite proud of that. And I think when you get to come to the campus, you'll realize just how sociable an environment it is. People are expected to work hard, but they're expected to be sociable and friendly and support each other as well. We're part of something called the Northwest Commission on Colleges and Universities, and that's our accreditation that we have. And the accreditation is with an American accreditation organization. We're also accredited with Canadian organizations, and just a few weeks ago, we became a member of Universities Canada. So we have a combination of accreditations, and it's unique in the fact that we have American as well as Canadian accreditation. So we're very proud of that, and helps with transfer of courses and things like that. We are what we're called a teaching-focused university, which means that our emphasis is on excellence in teaching. And we take a great deal of pride in that, and working with our students, and the teachers have a very close relationship with the students. Our classes are never particularly large, usually about 35 students or less. And as a result, we get to have a very kind of close working relationship with each of the students. You get to know us on a first name basis. One of the things we're proud of is that we're a very creative institution. We encourage creativity, and we have a lot of creative learning programs, as you well know, such as music and film and theater and even early childhood type programming. This is some of our students traveling in Europe and participating in choirs in Europe when we're able to do that. This is our film program, where the students are constantly out filming subject matter here in the campus and in other parts of the community. We like to think that we have a very engaged learning approach. Again, that means that we work with you on a one-on-one basis, and as a result, we create a very close-knit learning environment. The teachers take a great deal of pride in this. This image here shows you is a picture of where all the teachers are actually together, and they're learning about how to teach and teach better. And this is Roy Jansen. He's one of the instructors in tourism and outdoor recreation. Roy is a terrific person and takes great care and attention to students. I know Roy personally, and I've known him for 25 years. And Roy sort of exemplifies the kind of individual that teaches at our institution, but he's just like so many others. And he is so passionate. He takes students out to your classes, and not just in a classroom. Here he is actually teaching out at a place called Rice Lake, not too far from our campus. And this is in the winter time where it's all iced over. And then this is a picture in the summertime, and he's talking about ecological processes in that lake. Our focus is on your well-being, and that we intend that when you finish your course of study with Casa Capilano, that you'll be healthier than when you arrived. And that's kind of unusual for a university. Universities usually mean that when you finish, either you've lost tons of weight or you got overweight or something like that, and you've you run out of money. Well, we don't want to be like that. We want to be a university where you graduate, you actually are healthier than when you came, and that's our focus. So we put a lot of emphasis on well-being. We not just try to make sure that you go have an enjoyable learning experience. We celebrate. We do sports activities, and we try to make sure that you're both your physical and mental well-being is addressed at all times. We also have a strong connection to our Indigenous communities. We live and work on the traditional territories of the Squamish, Sechelt, Lewot, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations, and we're very proud of that. And we have a very close relationship with each of those communities. This is our in-residence elder. His name is Ernie, and Ernie, for example, will hold sessions on Thursday afternoon, and you can just come and chat to Ernie and find out about his or his perceptions and his wisdom. They're quite exceptional, and it's just a different way of looking at the world in a more calm and empathetic manner, and that's the kind of thing that we value a great deal. We recently had a canoe launching, and this was carved specifically for our 50th anniversary, and we became part of the canoe family of our traditional territories, and again, something that we hold very dear and proud about. In our learning community, not just do we try to share and learn from each other, but we also respect and acknowledge all the different cultures and communities that students come from. We have over 80 countries represented at Capilano University, and international students make up over 30% of the student population, over a third of the population, international students. So you're joining good company from all around the world when you come and study with us. So as you can see, that little Canadian flag, it won't be too long before you get that backpack on and you're heading off to study overseas. Now, we have, however, been doing a bit of juggling of late. And of course, the juggling is a result of everything that's happened with COVID-19 and the shift to online learning. So, that's a big deal when we start to have to make a big change like that at the university. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the different platforms, the learning platforms, in a few minutes. Francisco is going to walk through that with you. And we're also going to talk about, what it takes to come here under these circumstances now that the travel conditions and immigration conditions and things like that have changed quite a bit. So I'm going to pass on that just because of the interest of time. I'm going to move over to you, Francisco. And with you, would you mind picking up now and talking about the situation with COVID-19 and what's expected of students when they come and join us at the university?
Absolutely, thanks, Chris. So there's tons of questions that you have right now. We're aware of those. Every time that information changes with government and in the university, we need to update and make sure that these answers are out there for you. So the university has worked hard on putting all these questions together on the website. So if you look at Capilano's website, I would refer to first with COVID-19 is, as you can see on the screen, there's tons of information available for you. And most important, I believe it's in the next screen, Chris, it's, as I say, it's FAQs, tons of information. Every time there is an update from federal government, we put it out there because we know that we have your questions. Now we know that there is specific questions that you might have us read in the chat, and there's specific questions from everyone. And I hope that we have time to answer all these questions. So we're gonna talk with Shannon when the time comes. But it's more important right now, as you might know, that the recent update from IRCC, from the federal government, is that now international students, no matter where they come from, they can enter the country if they have a valid study permit. So that's a big piece of news. It's a good news. The second is that that students need to be enrolled and they need to be admitted in a designated learning institution. It's a DLI. You might be aware of that. So Capilano is part of this list of designated learning institutions. Why? Because we have a plan for students to come to Canada. Now, there are things that you need to be aware before you come. And there is the travel restrictions that are currently in place. As you can see in your screen, some of them there, the four of them. But before you think about before you start thinking coming to Canada, once you have the study permits, asking these questions, if you're ready to come. There's lots of preparation that you have to do before coming in, and think about housing. You need a place to live. You need a place where you have to self-quarantine for 14 days. And of course, you have to attend classes. So that information is available in federal and official sources, as you can see on your screen. So we encourage you to visit this website, because that information is the most updated one. And this is a travel guide that it's available also in the FAQs, on the frequently asked questions. I encourage you, for those that are in the call right now and waiting for the study permit, and or even if you have your study permit, all the information on all the travel restrictions that you have to follow there in this document. And you have to contact the CA, you have to contact the university, you have to contact the office before you come in, because we need to tell you what are the things that you need to prepare. I mentioned accommodation is the first one. We have a list of approved hotels and options for you, including homestay, for you to complete your 14 days of self-quarantine. These hotels, this list of options, meet the requirements the provincial government requires to have for international students to self-isolate. And so that list is included in the travel and self-isolation guide. And next screen there. So where to live? Living in Vancouver, as you might know, it can be challenging. And so for that, it requires a little bit of research. There's housing in the university. The university has a number of rooms available for international students when they come. Housing is a convenience option, as it's a 10 minutes drive from campus. You can have a shared room or a single room after completion of your self-quarantine, self-isolation period, which is a requirement before you come to Canada. So it's good to know that there's options out there for you before coming to Canada. If you're in need to sign for a room, if you have plans to come, contact us and we can walk you through the whole application process. I'm gonna give it back to you, Chris, to go over the location and where Capilano University campus is located.
Great, and then we'll come back to you for the residents, Francisco.
Absolutely.
So now it's all very well to look at a map, but I think that what I wanted to do with this map is just kind of give you a sense of where it is that we're located. And there's a good reason for this. So you see over here, this is a sea island down here, and this is where the airport is. So what happens is you fly into the airport. So you ready? Here we go. Going. There we go, and land at the airport. And oh no, it's over here. Sorry, land at the airport. And then what you do is you'll catch a SkyTrain when you arrive, and we're going to show you pictures of this later on. What this of getting on the SkyTrain, and then you head over to downtown, and then you catch a sea bus, which takes you across to Lonsdale, and then lo and behold, you end up right here at this blue dot. So you ready for it? This is an exciting graphic. So here it goes. There's Capilano University right there. So we're pretty lucky because right here we've got Deep Cove, which you can do sea kayaking and all kinds of neat activities. Also has some legendary donuts called Honey's Donuts. Have you ever heard of Kate Winslet? Do you know Kate Winslet, the actress? She was in Titanic and many other things. Anyway, Kate Winslet loves Honey's Donuts. So just so something that you can look forward to. You won't need to eat for a week after you eat one of those things. They're like super heavy, but they are quite delicious. So those are at Deep Cove. You've got Mount Seymour, Grouse Mountain, and Cypress Mountain ski fields. So within 20 minutes, you could be leaving the campus and hightailing over here on a bus up to Grouse Mountain and then skiing well, I guess within 45 minutes to catch the gondola up. But that just gives you an idea of just how nice it is in terms of the environment to live in. It's all forest and mountains all in here, and then urban area right here. Now, if you choose to live in Surrey, which I suspect some of you might have heard of, Surrey is a little bit of a distance away from North Vancouver. It's way down here. This is Highway 1. So you go all the way down Highway 1, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And in fact, it's outside of this map here. So what you can do though, if you drive from Surrey, if you're lucky enough to have a car, there's often quite congested, even nowadays. It wasn't for a few months, but now it is with COVID-19. The traffic's quite congested. So it takes about 41 minutes to drive. Now, you could take, and it's in this area here that it often gets quite busy. Now, you could take the SkyTrain, and the SkyTrain is a very good way of traveling. You go down to Burnaby and then you catch a bus, the 28, all the way to the campus. Now that will take you an hour and 26 minutes. So if you can imagine this, you've got 3 hours a day minimum, which is add another hour for getting to it. That's about 4 hours a day of commuting. That's quite a bit once you start. Now you could walk from Surrey, but that will take 5 hours and 19 minutes. So kind of, you have to leave out pretty early to get to your lecture at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's a fair distance, and that's why we advise that you consider living in North Vancouver. And one of the options that we have available when you are able to start classes here, and we hope that won't be so far away, is to stay at the residence. I kind of pass it back to you, Francisco, to speak a little bit about the residence.
Thank you, Chris. So I was mentioning that the Capilano University has a student housing available for all the students, for full-time students, including international students. So it provides affordable and convenient housing option for students, and is supported by student resident advisors. So our community offers engaging programs and activities that help you grow and succeed while you meet new people and friends. So in the next slide, if you don't mind, Chris, or thank you. It's quite spacious, and I have to say this is obviously in normal days, and these pictures are from recently from last year. And the option in the student residence has 3 resident halls. It has a big dining hall. You can pay per semester and including food, so it's a good option for you if you don't have anything else. So be looking into option and housing close to campus. Health insurance, it's important to consider as well. And talking about preparation coming to Canada, you will need to be insured as a BC resident, as a British Columbian. Once you become a resident, once you have an address, you are part of the medical service plan. It's called MSP. But it takes time to get the medical service. So we estimate that it takes about 3 months to get insurance, but we need insurance with a temporary international medical insurance that as a new student, you will be enrolled. So you are good for the first 3 months when you come to Canada. We want to talk about registration. This is important information for you. We're gonna have Shannon to go over this information. I encourage you to take your notes. It's going to be quite a lot of information, but I'm sure that you will find relevant for what's coming in the next days for you. So Shannon, if you're there,
okay,
I can pass it over to you. Thank you.
Okay.
Shannon, before we start, are you okay with indicating to me when you want the slides changed? And you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I will start with things you need to know about registration. So if you're planning on starting your course or study at Capilano University, it's important that you register for classes. So all the information that we have given to you up to this point is to confirm that you have been accepted by Capilano University. However, to make sure that you are an active student at Capilano, you need to choose your classes. So by that, we mean you need to register and pick your classes. So if you don't register for classes, you will not have any classes to attend. And starting the registration means you will be assigned a time and date. You will begin your registration for the spring 2021 term. And you want to set alarm and do your planning and begin your registration right away. That's to ensure that you have the best opportunity to pick the classes that you want. We have sent a number of communications to all the accepted students after you pay your deposit that included information for registration. So online, there's a page called How to Register. And on that page, you will have gain access to the registration guide. And then this is what the page looks like. So on Capilano University website, under admissions, there is the drop-down menu and you will see how to register. And this is a PDF document that will show you how to access information like my CapU account. So you will need to enter your Capilano student number, and then or your username, and then one more click, Chris. Then you will be able to log into your My CapU account. So your Capilano student ID always starts with 100, and it is a 9-digit number. And your username is typically your first and last name. And this is the information we have sent to everyone when you first apply to school. And make sure you log into this account. The initial password is set to your date of birth. And in North America, we follow the format of month, date, and year. So if you have an example of May 1st, 2000, you want to enter 050400 for 2000. And once you have access to this information, you will be able to access all the registration information available to you. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is where you can see your registration time ticket. In your My CapU account under registration, you want to click on check your registration time ticket, and you want to pick the term that is the one you're about to register. So for the spring 2021 term, the registration time period is going to be somewhere between November 16th to November 24th. So your date will be sometime within that 2 weeks window, and you want to be ready to go on that day. Next slide, please. One more click.
Sorry, yeah, I'm getting there. Good, there we go.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So there's a lot of information that we have covered today, and for you to have a centralized location, you can also access this information on your eLearn. So the website is eLearn, like for study, capu.ca. So you will be able to access this page with the same username and password as the one I have mentioned earlier. Once you log into this page, you will have access to this page called Welcome Guide for International Students. And this is a information page that will provide you with the travel information, accommodation information, money, transportation in Vancouver, and as well as registration. This is a very useful and helpful tool for all the students to have a centralized location to access information you will need during your transition from accepted student to a registered student. So make sure you log into this account and take a good look, and there's many helpful resources, information. Next slide, please. Okay, awesome. So now we have covered the technical piece, like how to access the tools to get you registered. Now you want to figure out what you will need to register for your study. So in terms of terminology, when we say program requirement, that means all the classes you will need to take within your study to graduate from Capilano University. So for example, if you are accepted into Associate of Science, you're going to have a set of course you need to take that might be different from for students who are admitted in Bachelor of Business or tourism diploma or motion picture arts or animation, right? So you are admitted to a program of study, and depends on what you are accepted to study, you need to complete a different set of courses. We also have Capilano University calendar available online that will include all the program requirements for different areas at Capilano University. There are close to 100 programs at Capilano, and this information is updated each year, and you want to download the copy that's for the year that you are starting. So that's a good information for you to have. However, for you to do course planning, I will show you a more user-friendly tool for this, for your immediate use. Next slide, please. Okay, so a more easier to use and a clear information is called a program planner. So you want to go to this page under academic support and download a program planner for the program that you are accepted for. So there is a Bachelor of Business, Associate of Science, Associate of Arts, Biology, Tourism. So go to this page and find the program that you are accepted for, and it will it's a PDF document, and you will see a list of courses that is a requirement for you to complete your study. So it's very easy to use, and it's good for you to download and for self-directed planning. Of course, we don't expect you to know and understand everything on your own. So next slide, I'm going to introduce you to a really useful resource on campus that you can access. So academic advising. So this is a department at Capilano University that you will find very helpful. So when you are planning to you're in this planning and scheduling phase of your registration, you want to contact academic advising and then book an appointment to speak with an academic advisor. They are very eager to meet you, and they are here to support you during your study at Capilano University. You can start right now and go back, see them just to check on your progress and see if there's any academic support and resource that can help you to be more successful throughout your study. Next slide, please. And as a brand new Capilano student right now, there are different online Zoom meetings, workshops I highly encourage you to sign up and participate in. So there are different dates and times for those course planning workshops that's available. That's happening this week and next week, just for students to utilize to do the program planning before the registration period begins. So you want to sign up and find the time that works for you, and use the tools that's available at your fingertip. Think this as like an online shopping exercise. For example, if you are buying things from Amazon, from whatever the website, you want to do your research and compare the product before you hit the checkout button. So this is the place you want to access and to do your academic planning. Next slide, please. And so I know many of you want more information after this introduction today. So there are different resources you can reach out and contact for more information. So there are 3 main pages to contact regarding registration. If it's a technical issue, you want to contact registration@capilanoU.ca. If it's for planning purpose, you want to contact advising@capilanoU.ca. And for any international related question, you want to contact our office in the Center for International Experience at inted@capilanoU.ca. Next slide, please. Okay. And then there are many questions related to your status as an international student. So the biggest factor is, where are you physically? If you are studying in Canada, you want to make sure you have a valid study permit while you are studying in Canada. So the permit itself allows you to study. Or if you're already received a study permit and you are just extending your study permit, that's fine. It's called implied status. So as long as you are with one or the other, you are allowed to study in Canada. So congratulations. Next slide. However, if you are outside of Canada, you want to check for the information from IRCC to make sure that you are in compliance with all the regulations from Immigration Canada. So this is the page Francisco had mentioned, Chris has mentioned, and there's another link for you to access all the latest update from Immigration Canada. Next slide, please. And then what if you're outside of Canada? So Capilano University do allow you to start your program online. You don't need to have your study permit before you register. We allow every student to register for courses, no matter where you are. You can complete up to 50% of your program requirements as long as it's offered by Capilano University. We can evaluate you for program completion. You can complete your entire study online, and you can still gain an online credential that you don't need to have a study permit for. And for students who want to complete part of their program requirements online before coming to Canada, before they have a study permit, as long as you complete the course, this will be a credit course recognized. So those are all the things you can do from anywhere in the world with or without a study permit, or approval, or approval in principle. So those are all the things that you can keep in mind, and you can go ahead and register. Next slide, please. Okay, and so whether or not you can register for courses and study, and whether or not the time you study will count towards PGWP, they're 2 separate questions. For Capilano, we allow you to register and we allow you to study from anywhere without a study permit. However, for immigration, they will only count the time that you have a study permit or the study permit approval or approval in principle for that time to count towards postgraduate work permit. So you need to decide for yourself, do you want to start your study on time, or do you want to wait for your time to count towards a postgraduate work permit? So for Immigration Canada, you can complete up to 50% of your study after you receive your study permit approval or approval in principle from anywhere in the world, and as long as you complete up to 50% of your study in Canada. So those are the PGWP requirements. Next slide, please. Okay, so there are some additional consideration you can decide for yourself. So we encourage all the students to register whether or not you have a study permit or not. And then if you don't have your study permit closer to the program starting date, you can make different arrangements. So for example, student can choose not to study full-time if they don't have a study permit. So a part-time study is an option. Students can choose to register right now, and then if they don't get their study permit approval closer to the January start date, then they can defer their admission application at a later time, closer to January in December, as long as they inform our office, and then we will inform you like what are the necessary steps. For students who receive their approval in principle, we are also providing the option for students to drop later. So those are some of the frequently asked questions we have posted on our website, and we encourage you to take a look. And there are many other students that have similar questions, and the information is available on our website. Alternatively, you can also book a one-on-one immigration advising with an immigration advisor online to talk about your individual situation. So go to our website and book for a one-on-one immigration advising appointment. Next slide, please. Okay, so remember, all you need to do right now is check your time ticket, make the arrangement and to plan for courses, decide what you want to take for the spring 2021 term. And you can still, you will still have time to make a decision to change your mind in December. So you have about a month or so to register for courses and pay before you need to pay your tuition in full. Okay, so things to remember right now is let's all plan for the best and register for the course, and then we'll wait for your study permit application processing. And if your plans change, make sure you're send your information to inted@capilanu.ca, and we will help you with the next step. All right.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Now, Dakshita, I think we should come back to you and sort of address some of the questions that are coming up. I've been looking at those questions, yes. All the ones that you've answered and the ones which are open questions. So thank you, everybody, for very good questions. I do think that a lot of what Shannon has just addressed has possibly been answered, but what we're seeing is the common thread of people are just really not sure what to do if you haven't got a visa yet. And so that's a really good question. So first I'll go to you, Dakshita, and just say, you could ask us what these questions are and we can try and address them.
Okay, so first, very common question that has come over here after looking at the paragraphs that the students have written to us
Mhm.
is if they have received their AIPs. Let's say they have received their AIPs and then they register for their courses. What about the second stage? And if they get refusal in the second stage, they've already registered, they've already studied, then what will be the process? I mean, maybe the refund policy.
Mhm.
Good question.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that is a very good question. And we are actually right now in a negotiation phase over what to do about the tuition on that in that circumstance. The bottom line is this: if you want to start your program, as Shannon was just advising, if you want to start, you can start online. The risk, of course, is that you might not get your permit. We honestly, and I'm being quite honest, we don't know when the visa approvals are going to be processed more efficiently, when biometrics are going to come back on. I don't think any of us really know the answer to that question. So what we're doing right now is we're trying to get as much flexibility as we can in the tuition refund conditions. We have policies at the university, and so we're looking at that right now. As Shannon said, you've got about a month so before you have to pay. So just keep watching, and we will update you on that under those kinds of scenarios, where if you don't get your AIP, but you don't get your full visa. We understand this challenge, and we just want you to know that we think the best thing to do is you've been accepted. That's a good thing. Register, so you get your classes, you get your place in your class, and then we've got about a month to make a decision on whether or not you need to pay your tuition. So I would like to say to you with some assurity right now what that looks like. At this point in time, once you pay your tuition, if you withdraw before the classes start, you get a refund. If you withdraw 2 weeks in, you get 80% back. So we are looking at what some of the alternatives are to that, given this visa situation. Is that clear for everybody? Is that clear for you, Dakshita?
Yeah, I can make it more simpler for these students.
Yeah.
So it's basically, if you've got your AIPs and then you're planning to join the classes, you can join the classes, you can register for your courses. However, if you do not get any result, be it positive or negative, by December, then you can drop the courses. If you drop the courses, even if you get a positive result, you can get a defer. But then if you get a negative result, you'll get your refund back.
As long as you drop them before the classes start, yes.
Yeah, dropping the courses is very, very important for all the students present over here. If at all you're registering for the courses, you need to drop. Otherwise, we won't be able to refund the course fees that you have already registered for. Why? Because that seat which you have taken is something that we cannot return, because that seat can also be taken by other students. However, it was with you, so you have to pay the amount if the classes start. And also there's a question if they can change the semester during the studies. I don't think so that's available.
No, it's not. And the reason for that, and the reason for the tuition policy that, once you've started, you have to withdraw before you start, is because we can't give that seat to somebody else. And we often have wait lists. So we can't give the seat to somebody else if you've taken it. Therefore, to be honest, we're unable to charge tuition on that seat. So that's an important element for the university's operations. So we do want to give you every opportunity to get your visa, and we'll keep you updated if there's any changes. The alternatives we've said all along is that you can start, and you can start online, and you can complete your entire credential online if you want to, as long as it's courses by Capilano University. But we know that you want to come here and we want you here. So we know that you want to get your visa. So if that's really too much of a risk, then we just suggest that you defer until the next available intake, and we'll help you with that.
Yeah. There is another question. As you all know, that we are into the list of approved IRCC readiness plan. Capilano University is into the readiness plan, and we are approved, and you guys can travel if you have the valid study permit. Like, the whole kit should be there with you. I would also want any one of you, like, in the last call, Francisco explained few points that the students should consider, those who are planning to travel. There are students, those who have got their full study permit, but then you guys should be knowing on the steps which are required at the border services. So any one of you can take up that content, and maybe highlight the students on what is important: the isolation, the readiness plan, like their own readiness plan should be there with them. So your points will be highly appreciated.
I think there's
Francisco.
more. Oh, Pablo.
I'm more than happy to answer these questions, and Dakshita, and that's an important question, and it's part of what we're organizing this pre-depart orientation. Chris mentioned and during the presentation, the well-being of the student, and Capilano's first priority is the health and safety of our students, our residents, community, staff, and with the ongoing situation and with the ongoing nature of the pandemic, things are, we know that things are not getting better. We're still under pandemic. And so there's travel restrictions. There's good news around that you as a student with a valid study permit can come to Canada. But ask yourself those questions. If you're prepared to come to Canada, there's many roadblocks that you will encounter when you come through the airport, such as questions from immigration. You have to use your PPE, your personal protection equipment, such as masks and hand sanitizers. So I think it's important to ask those questions. Accommodations, I just mentioned that you need to find a place where you need to self-isolate for 14 days, and that you have to submit a plan to the government before you come. And this is recent. You have to submit a plan online. So we have a plan for that. We're here to assist you. That's the great news. But it's not that easy. And I've seen it with the students coming in and during this pandemic. I think that most important that you have to be aware is that we need to know who is coming. We need to know as an office, as a university, who's coming, because you have or you will have a study permit that has Capilano as a DLI. So we, as a university, we need to report back to the ministry on how many students are coming to Canada, how many students are in self-isolation, and how many students are clear to be in classes. And to be honest, if you look at why the province and the country and the university is doing this, is for the safety of you as a student. So it's very important. We need to send you a letter of support. So you have your letter of acceptance, you have your study permit, but we also send you a letter that supports your admissions and to back up your arrival to Canada. So it's so important. I think this is the most important considerations before to come to Canada. So being away from home, it's not that easy. It's a challenge, and being away during the pandemic, it's even harder. So I hope that answered to your questions. Whoever answered that question.
There is one more question. Can we do quarantine in CapU residence?
And good question. Thanks for asking that because it can be confusing. So there's certain requirements that the university needs to follow, and these requirements are very strict. Such an example in the pictures that you were looking at, the CapU residence, for example, those pictures are in normal days when students they're in large groups helping each other. Right now we're at 50% capacity. And because in a normal residence, you obviously share accommodation with the students, part of the well-being and engagement that we promote. And these restrictions include that the students, they need to be in a single room with a separate kitchen and a single bathroom. So those requirements are hard to meet as a residence. However, we know that after the 14 days self isolation period, you can come and sign either a single room, and in a single room you can sign in CapU residence. The list of options that Chris shared in the screen for accommodations, these are options usually in hotels, and there is an option for homestay that they're prepared, and we know because we did our research before we put it in on that list that they meet these requirements.
Okay, so there's another question. If I defer again from January to September 21, not May, but September 21, will I have to give IELTS again as it expires in June 21?
As long as the document we receive at the time is within the 2 years period, we don't need a resubmission.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't forget it. Keep practicing your English.
Yeah.
So if I start online in January 21, can I take a break in the summer? Or will I have to compulsorily do the summer intake as well?
So most programs have, so it depends on the program. Some programs have 2 major terms. So the major terms are January and September. So summer term is optional. So there are programs that has the study is ongoing. So the whole year is mandatory. So it depends on what the program the student is studying. But if it's like an open general program like Associate of Arts, Science, Business, there's only September and January terms are mandatory. So summer is up to the student to decide. It's optional.
Okay. And then there is one more question, that if they have dropped out from the courses, can they still study online? I don't think so. That's, in fact,
you have to register to study online. If you drop, you're no longer in class.
Will we be able to attend the university in person for January, or will it be full online, depending on the programs? Let's say we've got tourism, let's say we've got NABU. So any update on maybe having some classes on campus?
I'll answer that one, I think, if that's all right, Shannon.
Yeah.
The reality is that that we don't know what the rules of the provincial government are going to be by the time January comes around. Right now, we have a plan in place which is trying to increase the amount of in-person classes or mixed mode classes, and it depends on the different program area. For some of you, you may have actually, you may now be communicating with the department or the school, and the program area might be giving you updates. If you have any question or uncertainty, then we really encourage you to please contact us at inted@capilanoU.ca and ask us the question, how does this affect my study? So right now, there are some classes which are mixed mode, some classes which are all students, most classes are online. And it may change because the rules change as different levels of COVID occur within the province.
Okay. So there is one more question. Can we quarantine at CapU residence for only 14 days and pay for just those 14 days, even if we do not take CapU residence as our accommodation option?
I can take on that. Unfortunately, no, we can't have students to self-isolate, as I mentioned, because there's certain restrictions that we need to follow from provincial health officers. And you can stay with us after the self-quarantine, after your self-isolation. We can walk you through. We have this list again of options for accommodations. They can accommodate students, and they have all the amenities and meet the requirements that the province is asking.
Okay, so there's one more question. Why are there so many courses not available for January 2021 intake? Will those courses be available in the future? Maybe some of the courses might, they do not have seats anymore, that the students are trying to register.
Shannon? Yeah.
Okay. So registration for the spring 21 term hasn't opened yet. So I assume the student is looking at course schedule on my CAP schedule to do their planning and research. So whatever the course the student is seeing is what are the courses that's been offered. So at different times, the departments and program area might offer different courses in different terms. Maybe that's what the student is seeing. Maybe they were comparing the courses that was offered in the fall, September term, and compared to the spring term. Sometimes it's offered in different terms. But right now, all the courses for the spring hasn't even started registration yet. Yeah.
Okay, so for traveling, there are questions for traveling also, which Francisco has already addressed. I can repeat once again that if you guys are traveling, you need to have a readiness plan. You need to have your plan with you. You need to fill the arrival form. You need to let us know that yes, you're coming, and then we will, we'll be able to provide you all the services once you reach over here. But we have to, as an institution, we have to know the details of your whereabouts, when you're coming, where are you doing your quarantine of like 14 days, and what are your future plans, where you will be staying. So there's this full form. It is already there on IRCC website also, but we can send you the link. We can give you all the steps. You just need to email us. So there are two emails. One is subcontinent, one at capilanou.ca. There's another email. Francisco, can you please let us know that email?
Of course, Dr. And thanks for stressing on this. It's so important, and it would actually help you to support your arrival to Canada, because we'll give you a letter of support. And so it's important the context. So it's a lot of information. And the good news is that if you contact us, we'll send you this information in writing. You don't have to remember at this moment, but send us an email. The email address is cie@capilanou.ca. And so are you ready to go? If you have your study permit, send us an email and we will walk you through this process.
I have mentioned it on the chat box. Please copy paste that email ID and keep it with you. Rest, the questions are all the same. If you guys are interested to study online, you can register, but then if you have not got your visa, then you can wait till December. If at all there's a positive result, good luck. You still can continue your online classes for January 2021. But if you think that you can get a rejection, then you can drop your courses in December. If you do not drop, there will be no refund of the courses that you have registered. And if you choose to take a withdrawal, then we have a refund policy of the $5,000 that you have submitted. That is in our refund policy. Withdrawal cannot lead to the refund of those, but then study permit rejection can. So you need to make your decisions wisely, that why are you withdrawing? Is there an emergency situation where you have to withdraw? And if your visa rejection is there, then there's no problem. So you all need to be very, very careful while registering the courses, while dropping the courses, while taking the decisions to travel, and while studying online. Anything that Chris, Shannon, and Francisco you would like to highlight over here?
Yeah, I would like to highlight a couple of things. Here's the good news. The good news is that you've got accepted to Capilano University. So congratulations, that's really important, and that's a real accomplishment. The other good news is that Capilano University is one of the universities which is allowed to take international students, and that was very important to us. So that's good news as well. The not so good news is that it's very hard to get a visa at the moment because the visa approval centers are not processing visas. So that's the not so good news. The good news is that you can, if you really want to, you can still start your program. And as long as you are aware that if you don't get the visa after classes have started, then you would have to forfeit the tuition, because that would be tuition, that's a space that somebody else could have taken. But you can start, and we are trying to make it as accommodating as possible under the circumstances, and enable you to even complete your credential online if that's what you ended up doing. We know that you want to come here, so we're trying to facilitate that as well. So there's good news stories and there's not so good news stories. Some things are just out of our control. I think Dakshita's advice was really good, and Shannon's advice is really good. Check your registration time ticket, plan and register for your courses, pay your tuition in full. If you don't think you're going to get a visa, then you can defer or you can withdraw. But if you withdraw, you're kind of back at square one. So you can defer or you can take the risk and you can start, and you'll still be able to complete your credential. And we kind of expect you'll be in the next semester, but there is a risk there, and we can't be sure exactly what the outcome of that will be. I hope that makes sense to everybody.
I believe it makes a lot of sense to all of us to take those insightful information from you guys. There's one more question which I believe that can be a confusion for the students. Like, what is the difference between dropping the courses or deferring? Like, if at all you haven't dropped the courses but you defer, let's say I got a rejection in January 2021 and I haven't dropped the courses but I deferred. So like, what is the process that will follow along?
Can I answer this?
Shannon, do you want to answer that, or should we get back to Dakshita on that?
So you have to drop the course to defer. Like, so request to defer without dropping the course, it cannot be done because you're still taking a seat in that term. So there is no deferring without dropping classes.
Perfect. That's the perfect answer.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I just thought I'd show you this picture on the screen there because, we do want to finish on an optimistic note, and we do expect to see you here at some point in the not too distant future. I think you've probably heard there's been some good news about possible vaccinations and things like that. We know this will take a while for those things to come to fruition, but at least there's some positive news on the horizon. We know that there is a lot of people asking the visa approval centers to start processing. A lot of people asking, ourselves included, all of our colleagues. So we hope that situation will change before too long. But eventually you will get here. And what you're going to do is you're going to walk in the doors of you're going to get off the plane and you're going to arrive into this amazing airport at Vancouver International. and you're going to start walking through to the foreign passports area. You're going to go to all these ticketing booths. You're going to enter your own information. And then the next thing you know, you'll be walking through here and talking to an immigration officer, providing them with all the documentation. And then you'll be arriving in at Capilano University after you have done your quarantine and all those things that just, we'll tell you how to get through that. And please take a look at the travel the guide to travel and self-isolation, and all the questions are in there and answers are in there. And then you'll get to see us guys. And, you know, we may not be very good at spelling, but we do figure things out eventually. And we'll be offering a big congratulations for when you finally arrive on campus, and an even bigger congratulations when you eventually graduate with a Capilano University credential. And that's what this is all about. And we look forward, I know this seems a long way away, but it'll happen. We look forward to watching you walk across the stage and collect your credential from us in not too distant future. Whew, seems a long way from now, all the things in which we're dealing with, but I'm optimistic and certain it will happen. So a couple of save the dates. Number one is that we will be doing an international student orientation. This is, of course, after you have registered and you're in the program and things like that. And we're going to do more updates before then if the visa situation doesn't change. So we'll get online and do more question and answer sessions with you. We won't leave you high and dry wondering what to do. We'll keep in touch and keep advising you, especially when critical deadlines come up. And Dakshita and the team there will let you know when we're having those conversations. So just hang in there. It'll be okay, and we'll keep you up to date. And that frequently asked questions site gives a lot of the answers, and we are always updating that as soon as we find anything new. Then the spring term does commence on January the 4th. So if you're starting online, then, you know, maybe you get your visa and you decide, okay, I'm going to stay at home. I'm going to start my first semester online, and then I'll come over here for the next semester, give myself a bit more time to get set up. That's a good option too. We want to create as many possibilities as we can for you to have a successful start and finish here at Capilano University. So that's pretty much it from us. We want to stay connected with you. I see that there were 105 questions today. We have these sessions regularly. We've never had 105 questions. We understand it's a really difficult time now with this uncertainty. Just bear with us. We'll get you through this. You'll get through this, and we'll see you here eventually. So that's what all I ask is for some patience and keep in touch with Dakshita and the team at Some Continent One, capilanu.ca, and ourselves at CIA at capilanu.ca. We rely on our team there in India to keep in touch with you on a regular basis, and I know they always do. Okay, any final words for anybody else?
Shannon, Francisco.
We're just very excited to have you joining us January or in the future. We're just wanting to have you as part of the Capilano University family. Thank you.
Just quickly, it's been an honor to be here with you today, and it's been a tough year. It's been a tough year for everyone. We think about you as a new student. We find ways, we look for ways to connect with you and to provide the services that we have at the university to you available even in this format. So stay in touch. The information might change from today to the day that we will see you again. Stay in touch, check your email. We'll send you emails once we find these updates, and visit the FAQs, visit our website. Lots of this information, and I see the chat, and a lot of these answers can be found on the FAQ sections. Thanks again, and thanks for the MSM team as well for putting this session together.
Thank you, Chris, Francisco, and Shannon. It was, I believe it was an insightful session for all the students, and we will stay in touch with all the students. Our team, Swati, Shobha, Shaina, will ensure to get in touch with all the students, and they're already in touch with you guys. Your students and their agents will make sure to have a word with you on a regular basis, maybe once or twice a week, and address all your queries on emails and on calls all the time. Anything that you would like to conclude, Chris?
I just want to actually thank my team here, because we started doing this work with another pre-departure session at 8:30 this morning. So we're now into 14 hours of work today. So I'm very pleased that hopefully we're still coherent at this stage of the day. So again, we really look forward to seeing all, and I suspect that many of you are with family members at the moment watching this as well. So a special hello to the family members that are joining those of you that will be joining us as students. We welcome and like to say a greeting to all the family members that may be out there today as well. So again, we wish you all the best, safe times, and look forward to seeing you soon. We will be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, Chris, Shannon, and Francisco, and good day to everyone.
Good morning, Dashna. Thanks.
Good night.